following list contains 12 conversational habits of narcissists. The next time you are in a conversation and all of these 12 habits are checked, then you are most probably talking to a narcissist. The first habit is distortion of reality. A narcissist will twist your words or interpret situations in their favor. For example, if they hear critique, they will simply flat out lie. They will tell you that the situation actually was completely different. They will tell you what you actually said. They will knowingly, wrongly interpret what you actually said. The consequence of this habit is that you will start questioning your own sense of reality. The second habit is changing the subject when criticized. If a narcissist doesn't exactly hear what he or she wants to hear, if a narcissist is mildly criticized, they will simply change the topic. This oftentimes happens after you ask them a question. They will simply pretend as if they hadn't heard you. The consequence of this habit is that you are never truly heard. You can never truly criticize a narcissist because they will just simply change the topic and not listen to what you actually have to say. The third habit is lack of empathy. If you are sharing your feelings, they just don't care. They will only then care if they can use the information against you later. What oftentimes happens is that when you are sharing a story with a narcissist, out of principle, they will always be against you. They will tell you that you have to understand the other people. If you had a problem at work or at school, a narcissist will not listen to you and then actually try to help you. They will oftentimes then say, but what about the others? You hurt the feelings of the others. Even though maybe you are the partner, you are the child, they still don't care about your feelings. They lack empathy. You are talking to an empty shell. The fourth habit is excessive self-promotion. A narcissist will constantly talk about how special and how abnormally great and amazing he is. In general, a discussion with a narcissist will always revolve around him or her. Never about you. You are just there so you can listen. This oftentimes involves monologues from the narcissist. It is not a dialogue. You are not there so you can actually have a verbal exchange. You are the audience. You are there to be amazed by the narcissist. The consequence of this habit is that conversations with narcissists are extremely one-sided. The fifth habit is subtle or covert put-downs. Narcissists tend to subtly insult the person they are talking to. They might even directly insult you. They might laugh at you for the things that you are saying. When you then try to stand up for yourself and actually say, hey, what is this about? They will then like to turn it around and say that you can't handle critique, that you can't handle the truth. Narcissists tend to think of themselves that they simply speak the truth and that other people can't handle the truth. The problem here is that speaking the truth is not the same as just being an asshole. You can speak the truth and still be kind to other people, but narcissists will just turn it around. They will directly insult you or subtly insult you. And if you then are insulted, either they just say that they never said that or that you misunderstood them. And again, use this habit of turning things around, twisting things around, and making you doubt your sense of reality. Or they will tell you you can't handle being criticized, which is hugely ironic since narcissists cannot handle the slightest critique in the slightest. A consequence of this habit is that you suppress your emotions. You have the feeling, I am insulted now, that wasn't right, but I have to be better. I can't handle criticism, so I just have to be better. Another consequence is that you are simply just angry and go out of this conversation with an extremely, almost disgusted and angry feeling. The sixth habit is constant interruptions and domination over the conversation. A wide-known fact about narcissists is that they need control. And also in conversations, they need to control the conversation. If they don't feel like they are actually controlling the conversation, they will simply interrupt you. They don't care about what you said. They don't care about you. They care about control. So they will just simply interrupt you and take back that control. Interestingly though, narcissists tend to tell other people's and accuse other people that they are interrupting them. For example, you are saying something, a narcissist interrupts you. You interrupt them back and try to keep saying what you are trying to say, and then a narcissist will yell at you and say, stop interrupting me. So you should stop interrupting the interruption. And what also happens here is that narcissists tend to have monologues. So you shouldn't interrupt. You need to listen to their monologue, which is filled with false accusations and insults, and you should just sit there and listen to that. Then when you try to say something and they don't hear, I'm sorry, you're right, you are amazing, and I'm the absolute worst, they will then interrupt you and say, don't interrupt me, and keep having their monologue about how you are simply the worst. The consequence of this habit is that you simply have nothing to say, and that a narcissist completely dominates the conversation. The seventh habit is manipulative compliments or devaluation. Narcissists like to confuse the people they are talking with. They will start with a compliment, with an enormous compliment. You would say love bombing. They just shower you with a huge compliment. Following that, you will emotionally open yourself. You will put down your guard and you will open yourself. After that happens, a narcissist will then devaluate you. He will suddenly insult you. You need a bit of time to realize what happens because your guards are down. Because he gave you the compliment at the beginning. Then when you say something about it, a narcissist will say, you misunderstood. And then he will again give you a compliment. And you will think, okay, maybe I did misunderstand. And then after that, again, he will devaluate you, or he will bring a subtle insult. So it is just highly confusing and you don't know what to think. That is how narcissists pave the way so they can just steamroll you and completely verbally destroy you and dominate because you are just too confused to answer and to realize what is actually happening. So a consequence of this is that narcissists just completely steamroll the people they are talking to. And also that, again here, you start to question your sense of reality. The eighth habit is stubbornness, extreme stubbornness, and lack of accountability. Nothing is ever his or her fault. Everything is your fault because you are just a huge problem. Narcissists are extremely stubborn. Even if all the facts are on the table, they will still say, no, I am right. This is what happened. This is actually what is true. And it is so painfully obvious that a narcissist just made a mistake, that a narcissist is wrong, but they just will not budge, or they will just lie and say, no, I didn't say that. You thought I said this, magic and confusion. You thought I said that, but actually I said something else, and they just try to twist everything around, and they cannot take accountability. Narcissists are horrible, absolutely horrible, devastatingly horrible when it comes to responsibility. They want power, they want control, they take power and they take control, but they cannot deal with the responsibility that comes with power and control. So it just cannot work. It is a disordered way of thinking. Thinking that you can have power and control, but then just push off the responsibility to their victims, basically. Their victims have zero power, zero control, but they have to carry all the accountability and responsibility for everything, including the life and the mistakes that the narcissists themselves make. So you have basically zero say in anything, but you have to apologize for everything, including the mistakes that the narcissist does, including the horrible way the narcissist treats you. So the consequence is that everything is always your fault and nothing is ever their fault. At least when looking at important things. Some narcissists tend to over-apologize for small little things that play zero role. But when we look at the important things, when we look at how horribly they treat you, then they do not take responsibility. The ninth habit is threats and subtle intimidation. Since narcissists need to control, and if they don't hear exactly what they want to hear, narcissists like to plan exactly how an important conversation will happen. Now, narcissists completely overestimate how powerful they are, how well they can manipulate. So they just expect you to say exactly what they think you should say. And if you don't respond accordingly, they will threaten you. They will show by the way their body moves, by the way they look at you, by the things they say. They might say, "You will regret this. Nobody will ever love you the way I do. Nobody will understand you the way I understand you." They want to create fear. They want you to be fearful so they can then keep dominating and controlling. And the consequence is basically that the victims of narcissism, or even if you're just talking to a narcissist, it will create fear. It will create the sense of something is just not right. This is very, very sketchy right now. And the victims of narcissism, they basically live in fear constantly. The 10th habit is playing the victim. Even though narcissists are the aggressors, are the perpetrators, they love playing the victim. No matter what happens, no matter what they have done, they are always the victim no matter what happens. Even if they destroy other people's lives, they are the victim. They don't want to hear what you have to say. They might even be talking to other people that have gone through horrible things in their lives. They don't care, because in their minds, nobody can feel pain as they have felt pain. Nobody knows what being a victim truly is, even though they are perpetrators, they are aggressors. So not only do narcissists find victims, then they will complain to their victims that they are the victim. As a consequence, they simply do not see the pain and suffering they cause to other people. The 11th habit is excessive lecturing and know-it-all behavior. Narcissists love attention. They love to be adored and amazed. You are so incredibly smart. Oftentimes, they will lecture you in subjects where you are actually smarter, where you actually know more. One thing that can then happen is you notice that the narcissist actually says something that is not correct. If you then, though, correct the narcissist, he will or she will turn everything around and either simply be stubborn. No, I am correct, even though it is simply and flat out just not correct. Or they will twist everything around and say, "You misunderstood me. You actually said something that is wrong. I said this and you interpreted as wrong. You heard something else." So also here they do some narcissistic magic and you will start to question your sense of reality. These lecturings can go on for hours and all you have to do is sit down and listen. These will be lecturing monologues. As a consequence of this habit, you will feel like you are just an idiot. You have to learn and nothing you say is ever correct. And the narcissist is this amazing person that knows all of these things. Even though narcissists, they know how to present themselves as if they were smart, but narcissists are a lot less smart compared to how they present themselves. The 12th habit is silent treatment as punishment. If a narcissist doesn't hear exactly what he wants to hear, if he gets critiqued, another way of dealing with this is simply leaving the conversation, turning around and leaving, and the conversation is over. Very important here is that there's a difference between silent treatment as punishment and simply being quiet, since victims of narcissism often hear the phrase from the narcissist, "Why are you punishing me with silence?" The difference here is, though, if you're dealing with a narcissist, after a while you learn, if I say something, if I correct the narcissist, if I critique the narcissist, if I try to stand my own ground in a conversation, but still on the same eye level, he will hurt me, he will punish me, I will be hurt. So you then learn to just not say anything, or a narcissist just heavily attack you verbally, or maybe even physically, and you need to recover from that. Narcissists can't deal with consequences. So they know that what they did was not correct. They know that you have a reason for not speaking, but they can't deal with the consequence. They can't deal with you not saying anything. So they will then try to force a smile out of you and that you have to talk to them again. So narcissists use silence as a punishment. They want you to realize you are being punished right now, and being silent because you got hurt. And because you realize if I do say anything, I will be hurt. Those are two very different things. A consequence is that you never know what you are allowed to say, because otherwise maybe the narcissist might just ignore you for hours, for days, for weeks, or maybe even for months. So you learn, if I am not exactly the way the narcissist wants me to be, I will be punished. And step by step, you will lose your self-esteem. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe. Stay strong and see you next time.